This Sunday, AEW will hold their next pay-per-view, Revolution, live from Orlando, Florida. The night will see championship matches and bitter rivalries come to a head in what looks set to be another action-packed night of professional wrestling. Hangman Adam Page is set to make his first pay-per-view world title defense against former Bullet Club stablemate Adam Cole. Thunder Rosa finally gets another shot at the AEW Women's World title, and CM Punk looks for revenge against the deceitful MJF. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the AEW Revolution 2022 card as I try to guess the winners and the losers for the night. And if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss the latest wrestling news. So let's start with the first buy-in match where Team Taz's Hook is set to take on QT Marshall. We'll keep it short and sweet just like any good Hook match as the up-and-coming star secures his first win on a pay-per-view night. The second and final buy-in match will see Layla Hirsch go up against Chris Statlander. Again, we'll keep it short with it being the buy-in, and I can see the babyface Chris Statlander walking away with the win to send the crowd happy heading into the main show. Now let's go to the first match on the pay-per-view itself and the first championship match of the night. The undefeated Jade Cargill will make her 5th defense of the AEW TBS Championship, having defeated Ruby Soho to win the belt in January before successfully defending against Anna Jay, Julia Hart, AQA, and The Bunny. Interestingly, this is Ty Conti's 2nd pay-per-view title shot in a row, having fallen short against Britt Baker for the Women's World Championship at Full Gear in November. As for a winner, I'll have to go with Jade Cargill this time around, and yes, it's another title failure on the books for Conti, but I feel Jade is on a wave of momentum that I can't see ending just yet. Next, let's move on to the 6-man Tornado tag match with the Andrade Hardy family office battling Darby Allin, Sting, and AEW TNT champion Sammy Guevara. Representing the AHFO will be Matt Hardy, Andrade, and Isaiah Cassidy. With the ongoing dissension between Matt Hardy and his stable mates, I think the result of this one is fairly obvious. Over the past number of weeks, several seeds have been planted that Matt is ready to walk away from the group, which will likely lead to Andrade taking the reins. Not only has there been a tease of a split, but there's also been several hints to a Jeff Hardy AEW debut, perhaps as soon as this Wednesday on Dynamite, the day his non-compete clause expires with WWE. Therefore, I predict a win for Darby, Sting, and Sammy caused by a falling out amongst their opponents. This will then lead to Hardy leaving or being kicked out of the group, only to receive extra backup on Dynamite from his brother and perhaps Sting, Darby, and maybe even Guevara. Next, we have the 3-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus will put their titles on the line against two teams, Red Dragon, which is of course Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, as well as the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Both challengers had to win a battle royal to advance to the pay-per-view. Red Dragon and the Young Bucks have been at odds ever since Kyle O'Reilly's arrival in AEW to reunite the Undisputed Era. This seems to have put a wedge in between the friendship of Cole and the Bucks, with Cole likely having to choose a side eventually. This leads me to think that one of the challengers will walk away with the title, setting up a 2-on-2 match with the other somewhere down the line. But who will win, Red Dragon or the Young Bucks? Well, I think I'll go with Red Dragon beginning their first reign with the AEW tag titles, adding to their resume of NXT, New Japan, and Ring of Honor Gold. Now we go to a singles match between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. Jericho has established himself as the superstar in this feud, belittling Kingston as nothing more than a never has been. Jericho's career long surpasses Kingston in terms of accolades, but is it time for Kingston to finally win the big one? Eddie goes into it having never won his biggest matches, falling short against old friend Jon Moxley and old enemy CM Punk in his high-profile feuds. I really hope that AEW go with Kingston this time around, as he deserves a major win, and he's arguably the most organic babyface on the roster, not only coming across as a genuine guy that you can root for, but somebody that has legitimately overcame relatable struggles in his life. He's far from the pampered rockstar sports entertainer of Chris Jericho, but I get the feeling Jericho will win, which is a shame, and I hope I'm wrong. The next match is arguably the most difficult to call on the entire card. We have two top main eventers colliding, with Jon Moxley going up against a potential future ally in Bryan Danielson. In recent weeks, Danielson has tried to persuade Moxley to form a stable with him, consisting of the two veterans and a selection of younger talent that they can help shape into wrestlers that do it the right way. Moxley then insisted that he only stands side by side with those he's bled with, resulting in the announcement of this match. As for a winner, I feel that if Moxley was to join Bryan, it would have to follow a hard-fought loss to Danielson, with him earning full respect for the American Dragon. So with that said, I'll go for a Bryan Danielson victory, leading to a powerful alliance between the two. Orange Cassidy, Wardlow, Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, and either Ethan Page or Christian Cage are set to battle it out for a shot at the AEW TNT Championship. The face of the Revolution ladder match will see a brass ring hanging high in the air, with the first to climb a ladder to retrieve it earning the title shot. Whilst the rest of the field are worthy competitors, I think the two favourites for the match in my opinion are the recently debuted Keith Lee and Mr. Mayhem himself, Wardlow, who has been on a hell of a run over recent months. Keith Lee would make his AEW debut 3 weeks ago when he would show up as a surprise competitor in a Face of the Revolution qualifying match against Isiah Kassidy, and the ladder match itself will be his first bout since. As for Wardlow, he is currently 5-1 in 2022, usually finishing his opponents off in emphatic fashion. His only loss came against CM Punk, and he would have arguably won had MJF not convinced him to keep the punishment going. In terms of a winner, I think I'll go with Wardlow for this one, as it would create an interesting dynamic in his relationship with MJF. MJF will no doubt lay claim to the TNT title shot being his own due to Wardlow technically being under contract with him, this perhaps setting up their inevitable split. So 8 down and we've got 3 matches to go, and next we go into the second last title match of the night as Dr. Britt Baker DMD defends her AEW Women's title against Thunder Rosa. The two women have met twice in singles action in AEW, with Britt winning the first via referee decision, whilst Rosa came out on top in the now infamous unsanctioned Lights Out match at St. Patrick's Day Slam. They would even meet in the ring this past Wednesday on Dynamite in tag team action, with Rosa pinning the champion to make a statement ahead of the pay-per-view. One wildcard when it comes to the result is the fact that Thunder Rosa will be going into the match with an injury, although she has been cleared to wrestle. Could this perhaps prevent a planned title run due to long-term effects of said injury? That's unclear at the minute. Either way, I think I'll go with a Thunder Rosa victory, ending her near 280-day reign as champion. It does feel like the long-term plan has been for Rosa to be the one to beat Baker, and I think it's time to freshen up the women's division with a new champion. Now let's get to the most personal blood feud of the night, as CM Punk is set to fight MJF in a dog collar match. In what has been arguably the best storyline All Elite Wrestling has seen to date, and my personal favourite, MJF vs CM Punk has told a story with more depth than we've seen in the modern era. It all began when CM Punk walked away from pro wrestling in 2013, much to the disappointment of a now bitter young MJF. Rather than letting his idol quitting make him do the same, this only helped breed one of the most despicable heels in wrestling, with CM Punk's backstory being excellently woven into the origin story of Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Now with a claim to 2 victories over Punk, MJF looks to put the final nail in the coffin of the man he once looked up to. We don't have the time to get into every detail of the feud, but perhaps that's something for a future video. As for a prediction, it's pretty clear to me that MJF needs to come out on top of this feud by any means necessary, marking him as a major player in AEW's main event scene. Another win over the best in the world will take him to a whole new level, setting up a future chase and inevitable dethroning of the AEW World Champion. Before we get to the main event, let's go over the possibility of a surprise signing showing up at the pay-per-view. Whilst there are many top free agents on the market, there's 3 names that spring to mind when it comes to possible surprises. As I spoke about earlier in the video, I'm pretty sure that Jeff Hardy isn't going to show up until Dynamite on Wednesday, so we can rule him out. However, with the announcement that AEW President Tony Khan has purchased Ring of Honor, this could be the perfect time to sign an established ROH alumni, with Samoa Joe and Claudio Castagnoli, the former Cesaro, as the obvious options. Either of these men could be the focal point of the new era of Honor, with Claudio being a 2-time former ROH World Tag Team Champion, whilst Joe is a former ROH World Champion. Why not put an exclamation mark on Wednesday's announcement by adding a major name to the Ring of Honor roster? And now we go back to the MJF result as we set up a future match for the world title, but the question is, who will be the AEW World Champion were MJF to be set on that path? Well, in the Revolution main event, Hangman Adam Page will defend his AEW World Championship for the 4th time since his win over Kenny Omega at Full Gear in November. So far he's drew with and defeated Bryan Danielson before overcoming Lance Archer in a Texas death match. Adam Cole, on the other hand, is featuring in his first AEW pay-per-view main event, currently sitting at the top of the rankings following a so far undefeated 2022, albeit losing an unsanctioned match against Orange Cassidy. Having only worked 3 matches in 3 months, a Hangman Page loss would feel like a very underwhelming way to end his reign as champion. I feel that Page's run has more legs in it, so I'm going to go with a win for Hangman, setting up a potential feud with MJF somewhere down the line, where he can drop the belt to the man that seems destined for AEW's top prize. And before you go, make sure you check out every released superstar that made it into WWE 2K22.